You're watching a segment of The Splash, Greater West Bloomfield's news magazine show.
And now it's time to look back at some of our favorite episodes of A Minute with Nature, Parenting on the Go, and The Biz, where we partnered with community organizations to deliver interesting information that's close to home.
Hello and welcome to Minute with Nature. I'm your host, Lauren Azuri, the park naturalist for West Bloomfield Parks. And today we're here inside our nature room talking about native plants and why you might want to plant some native plants in your garden as well. Well, what is a native plant? A native plant is a plant that has evolved here in our area, and it's adapted to the climate and soil here. A native plant has grown in Michigan, or their native area, for hundreds of thousands of years, so have developed ecological relationships with the animals in our area as well. Why would you want to plant native plants in your yard? Well, there's lots of reasons, but one is convenience. Native plants grow better in Michigan. They don't require fertilizer or pesticides, as well as less watering. Since they're from here and they're used to the conditions here, you don't need to add as much water or fertilizer to the soil that they're growing in your garden, so they're lower maintenance. But because we're talking about environmental stewardship, we're talking about taking care of the earth. Have you ever heard of Aldo Leopold? He's a really famous person who is an environmental steward, and he actually championed the concept of environmental stewardship. And he defines it as dealing with man's relation to the land and to the animals and to the plants which grow upon it. So environmental stewardship really encompasses all of the earth, the plants, the animals, and the land, as Aldo Leopold tells us.
Wow, it sounds like it can be very overwhelming. Why is it important to identify them as sensitives instead of possibly some other health issue?
So a lot of these kids often end up with diagnoses of anxiety. Some are seen as ADHD. Frequently they have autism. But you don't have to be autistic in order to be a sensitive. There is this large continuum. And I think it's good to look at the idea of sensitivities because it takes us to the root of what's really going on here. These are kids who are so sensitive to their surroundings that it creates anxiety. It feels like there's all this tension and movement in their bodies. And many times I see ADHD kids who are really sensitive kids, and if we can tone down the sensitivities around them, we also tone down their inner tumult.
That they, and only they, are the ones that can produce a successful outcome. So the parent, not the child, not anybody else. Like, these are parents who review all the homework papers, they edit them, and what happens is the child gets the A, successful outcome, but doesn't feel any confidence in their own potential academic success. Also, self-efficiency is problematic because the parents are saying, we don't think you're capable of taking effective action when situations come up. So the parents are controlling everything, they're managing everything, and the child is not learning how to find their own resources to rely on themselves.
And the key to keeping good optical health starts with a yearly eye exam.
The eye exams are more than just checking for your glasses prescription or contact lens prescription. It's more about checking the eye health as well. So that's why it's important to come in even if you've never had a problem with your eyes. You passed every vision test at school. You passed your driver's test. You may have issues in the back of the eye that you may not have symptoms of, so you wouldn't necessarily know to come in. Where we're checking these things early on to make sure that doesn't become a problem for you.
Which brings us to our cell phones, and what precautions can we take to prevent any damage from our new national pastime?
The light that comes from these devices, the LED light, actually can have a form of blue light, which can possibly, there are studies still out there on this, possibly cause damage to the back of the eye to put the eyes more at risk for macular degeneration later in life. So the closer you are and the brighter the screen, there's much more risk. So I tell our patients, keep the devices farther away from you, not so bright of a screen. If you put it on the night shift, that's actually easier on your eyes, and to limit the hours that you're looking at the screens, especially children. I tell them all the time, really, unless you need to use these devices for school activities or anything like that, no more than a couple hours a day on the screen is best.
To relive all of our favorite moments from these shows, you can visit civiccentertv.com/2018 segments.
Thanks for watching a segment of The Splash. To catch the entire show or other segments, watch us on Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T Channel 99, or look us up online at thesplash.tv and listen to us on WBLD 89.3, the all-new Lakes FM.